thank you for coming out this evening. It was bad weather, but it's very important that you come out and see what we're doing in the village. And I would like to introduce the speaker for the day, and that is our wonderful mayor of Hempstead, Mayor Wayne J. Hall.
Tonight, I would like to tell you my vision for our village. And I'd like to highlight some of the progress that we have made for the last several years together and address some of the changes still to be made as we move forward into the year 2012. As well, I would like to address some of the challenges before us and the manner in which we expect to address them. Tonight, we come together to tell the story of Hempstead Rising. It's a story that speaks to our village incredible potential, as well as to be a storied past. For Hempstead, our small hamlet made up of 54,000 residents, as diverse as some of the biggest and the best cities in the nation. It is a village powered by the dynamic nature of our residents. We are a village that has been blessed by a rich history. People forget that George Washington, the founding father of our nation, visited our village in 1790. As you can see, as far as the village seal, that's Big George coming into the village. Also, we had Native Americans living here, and that Hempstead, for decades, was the heart and the center of commerce in Nassau County. There's the stability of families who have lived here for decades, and by the enterprise and energy of new influx of residents, individuals from every part of the world. Indeed, Hempstead is a many-youth family up of the cultures from Central America, South America, from the Caribbean, from Africa, Asia, Europe, and Canada. And it is that robust and unstoppable energy that will propel us forward in this 21st century and into the next one. That makes us quintessential Americans and a true reflection of a global society. I point to the rich and the dynamic nature of the present-day Hempstead because I believe that who we are, our diversity, combined with the spirit and toughness of a Hempstead resident, our desire to work, to develop new businesses, to improve our village, that essential character that is the key to the development and the revitalization of our village. You know, there are folks out there, outside of Hempstead, who look at us not only like the stepchild, but like the abandoned foster child. The child nobody wants. The child folks are suspicious of, and behind whose back they whisper and say terrible things, though they know they shouldn't. Folks outside our village, 3.7 square mile periphery. Folks in other parts of Nassau County and on Long Island have had a tendency in the past to turn their noses up at Hempstead and to doubt our ability and potential. Some have defined Hempstead in the past as a place that is low income, beset by crime, where they cannot see the good of the people. When I hear these things, I say, they don't know Hempstead. They don't. They don't know our history. They don't know our quality. They don't know our great potential, and that many great Hempstead residents, business owners, working families, doing several jobs to put their children through college or to pay the health care for a senior citizen. They don't know the good people here, of course, when I hear, well, speak of Hempstead, I wonder where they've been. Let me say that again. I wonder where they've been. And if they've been in Hempstead that I know, the Hempstead that over the last several years has seen crime drop by 7%, has witnessed Terrace Avenue transform from a place of high crime to a place where families and children can now walk freely and unafraid. A place where you can walk into Home Goods and see a diverse group of people shopping here. People are coming back to Hempstead to shop. I see that. And I saw that Sunday in Home Goods. And over the last 4 years, Terrace Avenue, under my watch, and efforts of my administration, working together with the DA and residents of Terrace Avenue, with our police department and local business to a joint community effort, we have seen the crime on Terrace Avenue drop by 87%. And that's a 180-degree difference. But it's not enough, and we're not stopping there. When I hear these comments, I wonder if the disparages know that Hempstead is a municipality whose heart and soul is the small business owner, the entrepreneur who is providing jobs to our residents and is striving with every muscle in their bodies to work to revitalize our village. In Hempstead, we have over 300 mom and pops shops, bodegas, beauty and nail salons, restaurants, supermarkets, and have a large businesses also, like Staples. And we also have Home Depot. We have a new addition, Mercedes-Benz, Verizon, Vim, Home Goods, and freight tools, and a bustling healthcare industry. And under my administration, we have worked to make Hempstead a place that is attractive to business, where they feel safe to open and where they are confident that they can grow as they provide services to our community. We have worked to standardize the business's license process and are continually working to find new and improved ways to expedite the licensing of new business so that we can keep the costs low and to the inspiring businesses owners. And even as we can ensure that the businesses are in compliance with the building and fire department safety codes. You know, because I believe in education is a priority, even though the school district is outside of our jurisdiction, we are working in partnership with District Superintendent Dr. Garcia to develop new partnerships between the village and the school so that we can enhance educational opportunities for our young people. We are working with Dr. Garcia to develop a mentoring and internship program. Instead of having career days once a year, and I think I spoke to you about that, Doctor, we should have career day once a month with employees from different departments to show our kids the different types of opportunities that they have in the village. We know not every kid is going to go to school, college, so we have good opportunities here in the village. I would like to show them the sanitation worker. I'd like to show them the person that goes down into the sewer to clean out pipes. These are opportunities that we have here in the village of Hempstead. And here in Hempstead, we have students who are achieving the highest levels out of Hempstead. In my office, over the Christmas break, we had a young man named Ronald Taylor, a Tavis Smiley scholar, who is currently attending Syracuse with aspirations of becoming mayor and maybe one day become president of the United States. When I look at his potentials and his accomplishments to date, I take extra notice and consider myself fortunate that he's not running today. We have had students who went to Georgetown. We had other top colleges and universities. And these are just a few of the examples that greatness comes out of Hempstead. I want to read a couple of facts here to you. Fact, 74% of students who fail to read proficiently by the end of the 3rd grade falter in later grades and often drop out. Fact, by age 3, low-income children have heard 30 million fewer words than higher-income children. We must be committed to ensuring that our children are given every opportunity to achieve success, beginning with ensuring that they are safe on their way to school. We urgently need to improve results in Hempstead, and our children deserve better. I'm frustrated by the failure of our schools. I'm not blaming anyone, because we need to work together to build a better education system for our children. From prenatal health, to kindergarten readiness, to reading and math skills, to family supports, to career readiness. These are the building blocks we need to create a healthy, diverse, equitable communities that work for people. When the education system, which is all of us, fails kids in our neighborhoods, it opens up the door to so many more failures down the road. You know, this summer, or before this summer, I'm going to instruct the Parks Department to implement a reading and math program during the summer. And I know the kids don't like this because this is a fun time for them. But our children lose too much ground in the summertime when they don't go and keep up with the schools. So I'm going to look for college students with a major in education. We have Arthur Morrison, who tutors our children in the evening in math at Kennedy Park. We will continue to sponsor school district spelling bees contests and other joint efforts which are designed to recognize and promote educational achievements. We have a youth court program designed to provide an alternative to our youth who find themselves in trouble for committing petty offenses. They are adjudicated by their peers, and presently Hempstead and Uniondale high schools appear in the court. You know, I say all of this to say, under my administration, our village has embarked on a $2 billion Main Street development and revitalization plan, known simultaneously as the Main Street Plan and as a plan, and in street parlance, there's Hempstead Rising. The achievements and changes that I've just pointed to are reflected to the greatness that is in Hempstead, of the immense potential waiting to be developed. Over the last 20 years, there has been calls and discussions about the need to revitalize Hempstead. Each time those discussions occurred, something came along to obstruct them and to prevent the plans from getting off the ground. Over the course of my 7 years in office, it has been my mission to get this plan off the ground and up and running. Never before have discussions advanced to their present stage, where the village, the developers, the residents have acknowledged the crucial and importance of the plan and its ability to transform our village not only into a commercial and transportation center of Nassau County, but once again, but to make it better than ever before. The Main Street Revitalization Plan will bring it with it some 10,000 jobs, construction jobs, and 3,500 permanent jobs. It will bring economic stability, aid in attracting vital industries, provide cultural and social amenities, strengthen our village tax base, and make Hempstead the place in Nassau County where folks want to live, work, and shop. It is for that reason that I'm committed to making this development a reality, and that I, in partnership with the board, have fought to engage the help of some of the most greatly respected and highly skilled developers in the nation. And that is Renaissance Downtown and Urban America, who's sitting right before us right now. Working in partnership with them, my administration has begun to take the steps needed to make the revitalization successful. Because we know that successful plan must have a solid foundation, we applied to the state and the Long Island Council for Economic Development for a grant that will upgrade our sewer system, a vital part of our infrastructure that has gone without significant improvement for hundreds of years. Despite intense competition from other folks around the state, our application was successful and we won a $5 million grant for our sewer upgrade. That grant reflected a vote of confidence by the governor and LIA, a Regional Economic Development Council, in the viability of our downtown revitalization plan. And since then, we have had businesses from outside our village, folks who previously had no interest in Hempstead, reach out to us and to discuss exactly where the village is headed and their ability to do business here. So we know we're doing something right. So we know Hempstead is on the right track. You know, I just want to stop here a minute and just say something about some things that I heard out in the street. Now that there are some folks who will try to tell us and tell you that we didn't get this grant and that it was just handed over to us, they're going to try to tell you that we don't know what it's for. They'll even have the nerve to try to call us out in public about this. Never mind that we never saw or heard a peep out of these folks when we were huddled in the trenches, deliberating out the priority needs of our village. What should be the key to a starting point for the infrastructure upgrade? And how to go about shaping that application. Though we have reached out to them many times, they never seem to be able to make themselves available for dialogue, much less to be part of bringing our village success, the village resources that we needed. So when I hear them speak, just know that they may think they're informed, but they're not. And just know that we know that when those folks start talking, we know we must be doing something right. As we move forward with the revitalization, I and the trustees are committed to ensuring that we work out a community benefits agreement that will specify certain key provisions that must be part of this development. Soon we will select a community benefits agreement committee made up of a broad cross-section of our community leaders. Some of these provisions we intend to include in the agreement center around jobs and hiring of community residents and ensuring that residents have access not only to temporary jobs, but that the majority of those hired for the permanent jobs are from our village. We will work hard to ensure that folks will be hired at all levels, both management and labor. As we progress with the revitalization, we will work hard to keep you informed about the development and make sure that your input and feedback is part of the process. To that end, we have a website where you can tell the developers that what you think. And then the website is www.renewhempstead.com. So make sure you visit that site and keep myself, the trustees, Don Monty, Ed Scott, and the development team apprised of your thoughts. My mission and the mission of the trustees and my administration is to improve the quality of life in our village. I mentioned before that we have great people here. People like Charles Renfrew, who's a leader in education in the community and is committed to ensuring that our children do well. Mr. Renfro has been president of the school board for the last 6 years. We have people like George Civic, who's director of the Hempstead Hispanic Civic Association. We have people like Reggie Benjamin, a community activist who's been working to help residents get construction jobs. And I'm glad to say that up there on Main Street 303, I was just informed tonight that we have 20 residents from Hempstead working there. From Reggie, from Briscoe Lewis project, and I'm proud to know that next week, when they do the insides and electrical and the boards, even more employees will be hired. We agree that although Hempstead has many, many positives, it also has a number of areas in which it can and must be improved. And one of those areas is crime. And as I mentioned earlier, over the last year, we have an overall drop by 7%. This is significant because, particularly now, when more and more people are desperate given the hit that the economy took, I commend our police department for the work of what they have done and with their anti-gang and community outreach unit. I commend the work of recently retired police chief Joe Wing, and I commend acting police chief Mike McGowan, who has been appointed police chief in the interim. Chief McGowan has been with the Hempstead PD for 34 years. I applaud the entire department for working together with members of the community via block associations and tenant groups, such as the Cameron Avenue Association, the various civic groups, such as the Hempstead Coordinating Council of Civic Groups, the churches, other community organizations. The only successful way to fight crime is by working as a community. To that end, I ask that if you see something, say something. The myth of the snitch is tired and played out. If you see someone selling drugs, stealing, destroying someone's property, or doing something that is destructive in our community, it is your responsibility. No, it's your duty to report it. And I hope that you will take that duty seriously and consider it part of your contract to ensure a safer and more peaceful village. At a time when homicide rates of young Black and Latino men continue to be one of the primary concerns in our village and across the nation, we can't afford to turn our heads when we see a violent crime, because we brought into this street credo that says it's better to zip your lip than to be part of the solution. So I urge all residents to remain vigilant and join us in the battle by reporting information about any crime to Crime Stoppers tip line at 489-4326, and that's a 516 number. You know, the safety and security of village residents, especially our youth, is my top priority. And that's why we have a comprehensive police programs, such as Project Safe Neighborhoods, which addresses gun violence through a series of investigative strategies, emphasizing school-based early identification and intervention. We have partnered with community organizations such as Hempstead PAL, Biddy Basketball, CYO Basketball, to name a few, to keep our kids engaged in healthy activities. And as a deterrent to gang activity in our community, we have partnered with Nassau County DA's office and the Nassau County Police Commissioner's office to get illegal guns off the streets. And I'm happy to say that since January, and Chief, quote me if I'm wrong, we have approximately 12 guns off the street.
You're correct, Mayor.
We have 12 guns off the street since January. our police department is working hard to keep all of you safe. So I think you guys need to. And one of my initiatives over the last year has been my campaign to block the opening of new bars, or the establishment, or any establishment that's selling alcohol. Why? Well, because in Hempstead we have over 167 establishments selling alcohol. And that means in a 3.7 square mile village, if you divide that by 3.7, you're going to get approximately 48 establishments per mile selling alcohol. And that's unacceptable. Having such a high concentration of bars and business that sell alcohol undermines our village progress. It contributes to an increase in crime, such as robberies, violent assaults, rapes, disorderly conduct, and prostitution. In the last year, each time an application for a new license or a renewal has come up, the State Liquor Authority has notified me. We are the only village in the state of New York for whom that they provide this service to. And that is a direct result of my campaign to reverse the trend of making Hempstead known as Bar Central. I have testified successfully in front of the State Liquor Authority over 5 times, each time preventing an establishment from opening. I have stated in the past, we recognize that there are some restaurants that sell alcohol that are viable business. If you own or operate such a business, as long as you have no record of ongoing violations or criminal activities, there should be no issue with you having your license renewed. In the coming weeks, we will schedule meetings to discuss this matter with the merchants and restaurant and bar owners. You know, we are joined tonight by representatives of New York Communities for Change. Maribel, and can you stand up and let us see you guys tonight? This is New York Communities for Change. Now, Maribel is a homeowner here in Hempstead, and her and other community residents are working to help folks who have been hit hard by foreclosures and the mortgage crisis. And earlier last year, we, in the Board of Trustees and myself, we chose to divest $12 million from Chase Bank. We did that because we found that many of our families in the village had mortgages that were underwater. And we found also that Chase, a primary mortgage lender, by and large refused to provide many of these families a loan modification. We took the village's fund out because we were clear that those funds were the residents' money. And if a bank can't work to help out our families that are in need through no fault of their own, but because of an economic crisis, then we can't keep the village's money in that bank. So we divested our money. The banks were bailed out by our money, but the banks refused to bail us out. So we had to pull our money out. And I want to thank you, Maribel, and New York Community for Change, because you guys are spearheading that fight to get foreclosure. And since we have taken our money out of Chase, Chase has turned their modification rate from a mere 20–25%. Now they claim it's up to 60%. So I think that our effort has made a difference. And again, we thank Community for Change. And we, you know, at this time we were the first village to lead the way in the state, and we are proud to have done so. Since then, other villages have contacted us and asked us how we went about doing it. You know, a vital part of providing you with, and our residents with services is our sanitation department. And to make sure that our streets are kept up. To that end, I'm proud to announce that our Department of Public Works under the leadership of Frank Geronero, has fixed 81 streets since I've been in office. We recognize that street maintenance is ongoing. Although we have fixed 81 streets, we know that there are many, many more that need fixing up. And we're working to do just that. And with the recognition that time and resources will determine the speed and our progress. I must say that since the last time I did my State of the Village address, our Department of Public Works have received more than $2 million in grants. They also secured $250,000 in FEMA grants. And they added 11 major pieces of equipment to keep our village clean, and they're providing top-notch sanitation trucks and 1 new sweeper. We purchased and installed new parking stations. And as part of our commitment to improving the sanitation of our village, our Building Code and Enforcement Department, under the leadership of Archinot, has stepped up the right and will engage in a more proactive and assertive policy towards folks who are in violation. We have seen improvements in that service, but we know we can do much, much better, and we were trying to do better. To that end, in the spring, we plan to unveil a Cleanup Pride in Hempstead campaign. This involving the quality of life and the beautification committee, as well as numerous community members. And as part of that, we will look at whether to increase the fines for littering, or if that would be necessary, in addition to a community awareness program. Each and every department and agency in our village plays a vital role in the effectiveness and the efficiency of our village. And I'd like to acknowledge some of the improvement and of our departments and accomplishments that have occurred on my watch. I would also like to talk about public safety, the fire department, where we purchased 3 new vehicles for the Hempstead Fire Department. We purchased 1 truck, ladder truck, and 2 engines. We increased the non-tax revenue cellular phone tower by $300,000, and we also increased the parking leases. With aggressive management of the staffing levels, we were able to avoid laying off employees. I also became a member of the Nassau County Village Officials Association's Executive Board, where we are fighting against unfunded mandates. You know, we negotiated a PBA and CSEA contracts that saved the village millions of dollars. We were able to have the new employees from the CSEA pay into their health care when they get hired. And that will save us an additional amount of money in the future. In the Human Resources Department, we heard the residents. I hear the residents complaining about the discourteous things that our employees say to them when they call up for help or not getting back to them. So I instructed our Director of Human Resources to conduct sensitivity training for our employees. I also asked her to do drug and alcohol awareness training for all the drivers, especially those that have commercial driver's license. And also have a reasonable suspicion of substance abuse training for the supervisors and anti-harassment and discrimination training for our other departments. You know, at the park is dear to my heart because I know that if it wasn't for my healthy lifestyle, I may not be standing in front of you today. But because I believe in the parks, and before that we invest money into the parks, we installed at Kennedy Park, we have a new front entrance, if any of you noticed, that we replaced that plexiglass with tempered glass. We also have a new floor in the bathrooms that's easier to maintain. And we also got a grant from the Department of Energy that allows us to install 100 and 88 solar panels on the roof of Kennedy Park, and this will reduce the energy cost. We also have a solar project that has enabled us to provide an opportunity for local young men and women to learn about solar panel trade through a grant which we received to install these panels. You know, Lincoln Park, if you ride down South Franklin, you will see a park where people want to come to play soccer, people want to come to play football, people want to come to play lacrosse, because over a couple of years ago, we installed the artificial turf that many people, is a state-of-the-art field there. We also installed surveillance cameras along with new bleachers that will accommodate 500 people. We also got new wrought iron fencing, and we upgraded the lighting system there too. So when you drive by there and you see, it looks like daytime. And at Campbell Park, we had a total renovation over there. We rebuilt that whole building over there. We put in a new roof, we put in a new walls, we put in projection cameras, and it's a great place to go. In our library, they offer free passes to museums. You got citizenship courses and various health screening events. You have building where there's a building-wide wireless access. And you have a database available 24/7 from the resident's home. In our legal department, we have strengthened the building and sanitation code by making it easier for our residents to pursue actions against those individuals who fail to maintain their property. We also improved the graffiti codes. Instead of now, it's 3 days before that graffiti disappears. We have a repeat offenders who continue to violate code with an enhanced fines. We have the rental registration for illegal housing. We have a new cabaret license provision it's a new enforcement tool for us to keep and more handle on the bars that pop up and violate our code. In community development, with the help of a state grant, with the CDA has completed the exterior of many businesses on Main Street. They have also executed 26 housing redevelopment projects. And we are planning a major construction project to improve upon the condition of Main Street relative to the pedestrian access and safety. This improved section of Main Street will feature new decorative sidewalks with 3 new additional pedestrian crossings, new street furniture, new street lamps, and new tree plantings with decorative grates. I'm going to restart the Quality of Life Committee because I know that's important. But I just would like to now move on to the goals of the future for the village of Hempstead that I've set. We already talked about the redevelopment. But I've also heard the residents, when they said to me that they call up the department heads and they don't get a response back. I also see that they're calling up and the employees are discouraged. By the end of the summer, the village of Hempstead is going to have a 311 system. I've been in talks with several companies. I spoke to our controller, and he's looking at me now. But we are going to have a 311 system. So when you guys call, your questions will be answered. It'll be tracked. You'll get email messages back, let you know we took care of that, and that's going to be a great thing. As I said, we're going to start the Quality of Life Committee. And we're working with Home Depot to build a gazebo in Denton Green. And also, I got Home Depot to build a greenhouse over at the Obama School, which will enable those kids over there to grow something throughout the year. And I know I'm sitting here and I'm watching in the crowd and I'm looking back there and I see Reggie. Reggie is saying, he didn't say anything about ShotSpotter. That's right. I got ShotSpotter is one of our goals too. We're looking to get ShotSpotter. And also, I'm going to form an education task force that will report back to me to help us get more involved with the school district so that we can all work together and make that a better place. You know, Martin Luther King Jr. You know, Martin Luther Jr. once said, everyone could be great because everyone can serve. So I challenge all of you to join me in serving our community. Mentor a young student, help someone learn English. And oh, I don't want to forget this. You know, in June, for the last 5 years, we've been having a 5K race. I hope that all of you will support that, because that is something that we support our high school with a scholarship. Last year, we were able to raise $8,000 to give to the high school. So I hope this year that we can raise more money. So on June 16th is the 5K Healthy Hempstead Day, that we're going to start back at Kennedy Park. We're going to do our 5K. We're going to come back into the park and have a great time and enjoy that, hoping to raise money for the scholarship for the kids for the high school. So I'm hoping that all of you come. So I close out our evening in much the same way that I began, reminding us that our story is a story of a village that is rising, a story of a community that has been sucker punched by the economic downturn and that has seen some of its resources dried up, in much the same way as many other towns and villages have seen their bounty shrink. But what is different about Hempstead? What separates us from the pack is our desire for economic uplift and our experience struggling through the hard times to rise again. 2 decades ago, there was no Home Depot and no Stop and Shop. That was under another administration, but back then, people said it couldn't be done, but it was done. It was done because the desire, the commitment, the resilience of the people, the same spirit that is here today, that same drive, that same passion. Hempstead is not shut off from the rest of the world. We see how our neighbors live. We're exposed to the possibility, and we know we are capable of much more. This downtown revitalization plan, this Main Street project, then, is our hope. But it is more than that. It is my vision of the long-term, sustainable, smart development that will propel our village forward and create the change that will help Hempstead not only survive, but to thrive. It is a vision to which I and the trustees are committed, and to which I work with all my abilities to make it happen. I want to thank you for coming tonight and for your ongoing participation in our government. Before you leave, you are welcome to step to the back of the room to grab a cup of coffee, tea, some cookies, and also around the room there's literature for you to, if you didn't receive it. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to our vision, to our accomplishment, and God bless you. Have a safe flag home.